Kendrick Lamar, Duckworth, Mr. Morale, K-Dot, Kung Fu Kenny. He is the voice of a generation and will go down as one of, if not the greatest rapper of all time. He has, arguably, the best and most consistent discography in all of hip-hop. As Dr. Dre would describe him,
Kendrick is one of those artists that we call forever artists. He could disappear for fucking 5 years or something like that and come back and fuck our heads up.
he's given us all-time classics such as Money Trees, Alright, Duckworth, and you know his projects are multifaceted, immersive, introspective, emotional, raw, creative, exciting, unpredictable, layered, and everything in between. And his features? Don't even get me started. Control is up there with Renegade as one of the most impactful features of all time. There's a reason he is unanimously considered as one of the big three. But Kendrick doesn't see it like that.
No!
If First Person Shooter was Drake and Cole having a swim in what they thought was still water, then Kendrick, unlike that, is the shark coming to fuck their shit up and get them out of his territory. Kendrick's hidden feature on We Don't Trust You was a surprise to say the least, but in every way, shape and form, a welcome one. We have collectively witnessed history and received the most vicious verse in recent memory, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. Now, what provoked this? Well, Kendrick and Drake have been throwing out subliminal shots at each other for a while now, ultimately culminating in this verse. Right off the bat, I want to say that I do not think Kendrick is going for Cole's neck, but rather Cole got caught in the crossfire by association. Kendrick cannot go after Drake and assert himself as the GOAT without also saying Cole is below him. This is not a game for him. The
First person shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches.
is interesting. My interpretation of it is that each of them need to be packing a gun, because after First Person Shooter, this is war, and they all need to be armed and willing to fight for this position. No going around claiming that you're the GOAT without fighting for it like Kendrick has done on this verse. This bar and the
Fuck the big 3, nigga, it's just big me.
are really the only parts of the song that can be looked at as shots at Cole, but it's by association because every other line in this verse is directly aimed at Drake. Same with those two. For example,
Them niggas clicking up, but pay not be legit, no 40 water.
is in direct reference to the second half of First Person Shooter, where Drake says,
Yeah. I'm about to click out on this shit, I'm about to click.
Kendrick is basically telling us Drake is making threats that have no real merit to them. The Genius annotation goes more in depth on this line, so you should check it out if you want to. The
Nigga Prince outlived Mike Jack.
line is very interesting. Drake compares himself to Michael in First Person Shooter, even mimicking him at the end of the video. Drake also makes reference to Michael Jackson to tell all his competition to beat it, because the only person he's really competing with is Michael Jackson, only being one single away from tying with him at the release of First Person Shooter. Kendrick does not care if you're Michael Jackson though, because he's Prince, the genre-pushing artist, not the accessible mainstream pop star. Once again relating back to the idea that Kendrick sees himself above his competition, in this case Drake, as he makes albums that push the boundaries of hip-hop, whereas Drake is in a comfortable place, putting out bodies of work that don't do much to change the genre. The last line of the verse, where Kendrick says,
For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these 9s, he gon' see Pet Cemetery.
is aimed at a singular person, not two, and that singular person is Drake, due to the nature of the previous line referencing For All the Dogs. Drake is the main target, not Cole. Now this begs the question, how do you respond to something like this? If you saw my last video, you'd know I believe a collab album between Drake and Cole could be on the horizon. This situation doesn't change my belief in this possibility, but I don't think the two would link forces with a whole project just to take down Kendrick, especially when Cole isn't fully involved in the beef. It's primarily between Drake and Kendrick. Having to enlist another MC to help with the response would seem weak. That album is more than likely to have zero ties to this feud if it ever comes out. But who knows. I do believe Cole will address this on his next Might Delete Later installment and say something along the lines of, think what you want Kendrick, but opinions will change after the fall off comes out. Cole said,
I stay out of beef, see niggas DNA get rearranged.
and I highly doubt he would outright stir things up more than they already have been when he isn't who Kendrick has the red dot on. Drake, on the other hand, needs to release a response ASAP like Rocky. This
Cause you know how I'm feeling? I got my fucking head up high, my back straight, I'm 10 fucking toes down in Florida or anywhere else I go, and I know that no matter what, it's not a nigga on this earth that can ever fuck with me in my life. And that's how I want you to walk out of here tonight.
doesn't count. This isn't a proper response. Something interesting that came out during the making of this video is that Drake is going to be featured on a new song this Friday. It could possibly contain his response, but On Thin Ice has said that it's just a hook, but even they're saying it's subject to change. By not responding, he makes it look like he is submitted to Kendrick. The last thing you want to do as a rapper is lose, or appear to have lost, and Drake is currently 1-for-1 for wins and losses in recent feuds, winning against Meek, but infamously losing against Push. But this doesn't feel as personal as his beef with Pusha T. This is more competition based, which I think is great for the genre. We've been missing this. Aside from the Drake and Pusha T beef and all the Eminem stuff, we haven't really gotten too much competition in the last 6 years. Actually, speaking of Eminem, I want to make mention to one other bar from Kendrick's verse.
I crash out like fuck rap, this Melly Mel if I had to.
I love this line because Kendrick is likening himself to Eminem, one of his biggest influences, if not his biggest.
The clarity, I got my clarity just studying M when I was a kid. How I got in the studio was just all off curiosity. I had a love for the music, but it was curiosity, you know. But then I heard Marshall Mathers LP, I was just, how does that work? What is he doing?
Basically, what he's saying is that just because you're a legend and someone's cemented in hip-hop, he isn't afraid to go to war and come after you if you diss him. Literally being synonymous with the genre won't save you from his fury. In this case, Drake is Melly Mel, and Kendrick, just like M before him, will go after his opponent for talking down on him. And that about sums everything up. So what do you guys think? Do you think this feud will escalate? Do you think Drake will respond? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Twitter and Instagram, the link below. Until next time, see ya.